Okay, good afternoon. My name is Amanda Bays, but I'm better known as Madison Star Moon on the internet. For the past 6 years, my purpose in life has been to stop the chemical contamination of our planet. I have attempted to accomplish this goal by holding authorities accountable for failing to address these concerns. I'm not going to talk specifically today about chemtrails. I'm sure you will acquire significant knowledge about the subject from the excellent group of speakers gathered here for this conference. I expect to learn a great deal myself. However, today I'd like to address the chemtrail movement, the efforts of activists to make the public aware of this assault on our environment, how we can work together to stop this madness, what it can sometimes cost in personal terms, and why we can never give up in our struggle for change. I'm a little nervous, so I'm going to calm down a little bit and get it together. Okay. All right. I live in Virginia Beach, Virginia. My home is less than a block away from Oceana Naval Air Station, home of the world's state-of-the-art jets. The region as a whole contains the heaviest concentration of military facilities on Earth. Naval Station Norfolk is the largest naval base, and there are 14 other military installations close by. I have reported spraying planes to the military countless times. They all ignored and dismissed my complaints and informed me that they regulate themselves. I have also contacted officials at every level of government to inform them of suspicious aircraft pollution. To date, no one in any position of authority has investigated my formally filed complaints. The chemtrail conspiracy is one of the most frustrating agendas to expose. Most of the public is unaware of the danger. How would they know when governments and the scientific community continue to spread disinformation, portraying chemtrails as harmless contrails? The vast majority of people throughout the world believe that those long and persistent cloud-like trails in the sky are nothing more than water vapor. So how do we counter disinformation? The logical response would seem to be with true and accurate information. But when the agencies charged with regulating the aircraft that dump chemicals on the unsuspecting public refuse to identify the aircraft, refuse to share information about emissions, and refuse to honor our request to collect and test air, soil, blood, and hair samples, countering disinformation becomes far more difficult. A wall of silence has been erected around the issue. The cards are squarely stacked against us when dealing with the government, especially with military where secrecy rules. In all my years of digging for information, no one in any position of knowledge or power has helped me in any way. This represents a failure of the part of those in authority on many levels. It is first and foremost a failure of accountability. When a citizen brings an issue to a local, state, or federal agency, it is the duty of that agency to respond with reasonable action. It is also a failure of transparency. When agencies endlessly repeat the company line or refuse to provide answers on the grounds of confidentiality or simply because they regulate themselves, truth is probably the first casualty. Finally, it is a failure of open and honest government. Corruption thrives in an atmosphere of secrecy. I have been investigating NASA for many years now, and the more I look into this clandestine agency, the more I uncover. Discrepancies involving the Apollo space missions and the ISS International Space Station make it obvious that NASA has been dishonest with the public. NASA itself has admitted to using aircraft to spray lithium into our atmosphere, allegedly to test the trade winds. But when asked about chemical spraying planes, they remain tight-lipped and claim to have no knowledge of such operations. Their lack of transparency and the secrecy behind their projects is legendary. NASA has used billions of dollars on projects funded by taxpayers whom they keep in the dark. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is one of the most useless organizations in government. My experience with the EPA has been nothing short of a nightmare. I even testified before the EPA about chemtrail issues and never received so much as a response. It is my belief that the EPA is covering up chemtrails. What can we do then when the very agencies created to protect our environment are protecting those that pollute it? If we lack access to the information that supports our arguments, what can we do? Continue to dig for information from private sources, of course, but we can persuade the government to cooperate if our voices become loud enough. This can be a daunting task, but not an impossible one. With enough devoted people willing to stand together, we can successfully carry on the fight to ban chemtrail emissions. Our allies are everywhere. They just don't know they're allies yet. Our mission must be to tell the truth to anyone who will listen. I'll talk about some ideas for possibly accomplishing this goal a little bit later. I am a chemtrail activist, but I don't solely concentrate my efforts on ending airplane pollution. I also speak about the dangerous antennas and towers, which I appropriately refer to as death towers. They have plagued the planet with invisible yet deadly frequencies. Although many would have you believe that those hideous structures are cell towers, much of the equipment on the towers is unrelated to cell phones. Transmitters are being mounted on hospitals, apartment buildings, schools, and into the stands of athletic fields. They're even hidden in church steeples and disguised as palm trees. Death towers emit harmful radiation. They manipulate a false electromagnetic field surrounding the Earth and create a false magnetic floor. These monsters are literally fracturing our DNA. I also focus some of my efforts on opposing Agenda 21, which is defined by Wikipedia as, quote, a non-binding, voluntary implemented action plan of the United Nations with regard to sustainable development, unquote. But those of us who have researched this agenda have discovered that it is in fact a depopulation agenda. Yep. Woo. Organic food has been replaced by genetically modified organisms. Our water supply is tainted with toxic fluoride, and our air is poisoned with chemicals, heavy metals, and biological material. So you can see I have a lot on my mind. And I don't mind sharing those thoughts with you.
Chemtrails, this is a heinous atrocity. It's a crime against humanity and ecocide. You see the chemtrails? Okay. Do you see the sky right now? Do you see these chemtrails? That is from airplane pollution. You know that, right? I'm telling you it is, I promise. Hey, excuse me. Do you see the sky right now? Look over this way. Do you think that's natural? The sky, the freaked out, nasty chemical contamination zone that we're calling an atmosphere. You know this is intentional spraying, right? It's called chemtrails. Do you see the sky right now, the condition of the sky? You see this airplane trails, all this pollution from the airplanes? It's called chemtrails. Do you know what chemtrails are? Oh, you do? What do you know about them?
From what I can gather,
Yeah.
this pollution being put out by the government as a form of population control.
Absolutely. All the airplane pollution? Yes, they're spraying from nozzles from the aircraft. It's called chemtrails.
Are you sure that's not?
It is not condensation. It is chemical pollution, intentional aerosol spraying.
Many of the aircraft I have witnessed appear to be spraying something into the atmosphere. Were you the pilot?
One of them, yeah.
Do you know about chemtrails?
No.
You don't? Do you think sometimes the spray, the emissions that come out of the sky could be like intentional?
No.
You think it's all just the jet exhaust and the condensation?
Yeah, it's just vaporized ice crystals. There's a secret plane flying around.
Okay.
There's a secret plane flying around.
Okay.
There's a secret plane flying around.
Do you think sometimes the spray, the emissions that come out of the sky could be like intentional?
No.
You think it's all just the jet exhaust and the condensation?
Yeah, it's just vaporized ice crystals.
Okay.
There's a secret plane flying around.
I was just wondering what.
They don't tell us anything about it.
So even if there was something going on, you wouldn't know anyways?
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Are you the captain?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Amanda Bays. I'm an activist and stuff. I was just wondering if you knew about chemtrails.
No.
If you did know, you couldn't say anything anyways, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell it is.
I mean, do you sometimes see the trails linger and then the other
Oh,
ones?
the contrails.
But you see them like linger in the sky?
Sometimes.
Yeah, but they don't
Are
dissipate
you
sometimes.
recording me?
Yeah.
You should start off with that.
I should what?
Start off that I'm recording you.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, you just don't want to talk about it?
Well, there's nothing to talk about. This is not promotion.
Okay.
Every agency I contacted responded to my reports by telling me that I was seeing condensation from engine exhaust.
You said you're with the EPA, right?
Right.
Okay, so what's the EPA going to do for me?
We set the emission standards for the jet engines on those airplanes.
So you're responsible for the emissions that come out of the airplanes?
That comes out of the engines that are on the airplanes, yes.
Okay, so if it comes out of a different tube or hose, then you're not responsible for it?
Right.
Oh my goodness! So that's actually like a little disclaimer that you have to allow the chemtrail planes to spray?
I don't know if I call it a disclaimer, but you're asking me what are we responsible for? And we are legally responsible to set the emission standards and the emission levels that the jet engines on those aircraft put out.
Are the chemtrails coming out of the engine? How would we know that? I mean, what are the chemtrails coming out of?
I don't know anything about chemtrails. There are contrails that airplanes put out. And there are people that cling to the idea that somebody is up there spraying something.
Right. I'm one of those people.
I understand, and I'm not saying you don't have the right to believe that.
It's not a belief, sir. I just told you that I'm out there taking all my photographic evidence. The EPA can no longer cover this up.
To date, no one from any agency has investigated my complaints. I was told to talk to my local representatives. I need to report crimes that are being committed, environmental crimes. I've already reported these for 5 years, and the EPA has not gotten back to me. Are you an EPA representative?
I'm a federal agent that works for the EPA.
I have yet to hear any response back to any of my formally filed complaints.
First of all, where's the location that the crime is occurring?
Earth. All over Earth. I mean, I personally witness in Virginia, Georgia, California, Florida, most of the United States, overseas, everywhere.
What's the crime, ma'am?
The crime is airplane pollution, which is
Airplane pollution, okay.
which is saturating the environment, and it is detrimental. They're blocking out the sun. I have lab results, hair samples, water, soil, and blood showing high levels of strontium, aluminum, barium, mercury, lead, uranium, and other chemicals and heavy metals. High levels of strontium and barium were uncovered. I have a copy of his lab results that he voluntarily sent to me. Yet no one in the EPA is getting back to me, and I would like to know why, and who do I report this to?
I don't even know, to be honest with you.
I'm reporting a crime to you. Do you have a criminal division I can formally report this
Yes,
to?
ma'am. I actually work for the criminal division, but I'm trying to figure out what the crime actually is.
The crime is toxic aerosol spraying into the environment.
Listen, I'm not patronizing you or anything, but I'm failing to see what the crime actually is.
The crime is toxic aerosols are being sprayed intentionally into our atmosphere. For what reason, I'm not going to speculate, but I document these crimes, environmental crimes, ecocide, on a daily basis. I have brought this information forward to
You're
you.
the violators of this.
Is that my job to figure out? You're the Environmental Protection Agency. These airplanes need to be identified.
The airplanes need to be identified.
I have always included my contact information on the tip report and identified specific aircraft that can easily be traced. This is not a conspiracy theory, sir. This is a fact. And for you to make light of it and pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure you're familiar with the term chemtrails, but I've avoided using that term with you because I already see your attitude towards me, and I don't appreciate it. I want you to take what I'm saying seriously. I've formally filed my complaints for 5 years.
So the contrails on the airplane.
Wait. You just said contrails. I didn't say contrails. I said chemtrails. These are chemical trails. So if you believe that those are contrails without identifying the planes I'm talking about, without even investigating the area that I'm telling you is being sprayed, you just come out with contrails. What makes you say that they're contrails without doing any investigation into it?
Got me.
No, I want an answer.
That's just what I've always been told they were called.
How can anyone reasonably conclude that a particular aircraft emission is merely a contrail without testing it? That is both unscientific and irresponsible.
So I mean, do we need to close down all the airports?
No, sir. You need to identify the spraying aircraft that were reporting to you. Did this contamination come from chemical spraying? How can we know if local, state, and federal agencies refuse to take ownership of the issue to provide testing and usable data and ultimately regulate when required? Just when you think the sky can't get any worse, it does. Look at the devastation of these chemtrails.
So you're spraying Monsanto chemicals on a public street where children could be walking. Look, you got it on your jacket right there. I mean, you're being poisoned. They're paying to poison you. What do you got, a backpack on? Let me see what you're working with here. You got a backpack, chemical sprayer thing, and you're spraying chemicals all the way up this street. Monsanto is an evil corporation straight from the pits of hell.
Here he comes. I'm going to stop this truck because this is my right as a citizen of the United States to protect myself from the poisons that this man is spraying right now. I'm stopping him right now as a citizen to find out what he's spraying. Let me get his license plate number. Okay. How are you doing tonight, sir? All right, let me get your information, please. What are you spraying in the air right now? Look at this. Look what you are doing. What are you spraying? What is the chemical that you're spraying? Can I see your material safety data sheet? Can you turn that off while we're talking? I know for a fact you have to turn that off when it's sit. Thank you, sir. I'm standing right out here. This is my house right here, and I need to see your material safety data sheet because it's the law. It's a state law, and I know that for a fact, sir. I'm an activist against mosquito spraying. Right. So you need to show me your material safety data sheet by law. I am actually holding you as a citizen to show me your paperwork. All right, let's see what paperwork you have. I'm sorry to have to do this, but this is our street. Nobody knows what you're spraying. Okay, I'm gonna respectfully request that you do not spray anything more on my street. Thank you, sir. All right. Are you okay? I just want to get this. I do this to everybody that I catch spraying, the trucks, the everything. It's nothing personal. So you're spraying glyphosate? Okay, so it's Monsanto. Let's see what you're working with right here. You've got your gloves. That's good. Is that protecting you? I see you got some on your pants right there. So you know that's dangerous for you, right? You should have like some type of ventilator or something. They don't care. The city doesn't care about you. They don't care about you. Now let me look at this. And this is, okay, here we go. Oh, here's the numbers. Now this is, glyphosate right there. Wow. Folks, this is what they're doing. You don't do it. See, I can smell the chemical up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now you don't do it out on the. Do you do it out on the street in the public sidewalks or anything like that?
No, I can do that little part right there, and
yeah.
I don't know if they have anything on that side, but I'm assuming not. I'm assuming it's that.
And you're not required to wear any type of respirator or anything like that?
Nope.
Hi. Yes. May I please speak to a meteorologist?
This is a meteorologist. What can I do for you?
Okay. So I just flew back and forth over the country twice. And I have to say that Virginia is obviously the most polluted area I saw. I was just wondering why we've been overcast for a week now.
We had an onshore flow, a northeast flow, and it's just a marine layer that's been socked in.
Okay, so
it's not pollution, though. It's just a marine layer.
Right, well, what facts do you have to base that on? Are you testing the atmosphere?
Wait a second. What facts do I have to base it on?
Yes.
I don't understand.
You said it's not pollution.
It's water vapor that you're seeing.
Okay, water vapor. Okay, so what about the airplane pollution that we see with the quote-unquote contrails that are covering the sky that create artificially overcast conditions?
Yeah, but there's not enough contrails to create overcast conditions.
Well, there's enough chemtrails. Do you know what chemtrails are?
I'm very familiar with all of that.
I believe that we're overcast right now due to chemtrail pollution.
Well, it's not that. Again, it's a marine layer. This isn't chemtrails right now. This is an atmospheric thing.
Hello there. Excuse me. Can you help me? I'm looking at this contamination zone in the sky, like the airplanes. I've reported this to every agency on the planet. I've reported this to EPA. I've testified at a hearing.
the FAA, the DEQ, the FBI. There's nothing that can you take a report for me for airplane pollution? Why can't you do that? It's a crime against humanity. She just walked away from me. Did you see that, guys? The police officer just walked away from me.
They're still spraying over top of my house even as we speak, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Y'all cannot hide. You really can't, and it's making you look really bad.
I didn't think we were hiding.
You are hiding. You're hiding facts. You're covering up chemtrails.
This is freaking heinous. This is repulsive. I mean, look at this shit. It's completely out of control. You guys can see this, right? I mean, I don't want to try to convince you. I just woke up to this. I'm on my way to work, and this is simply amazing. Chemtrails are fantastically horrific. That's all I can say. Check out what they have installed on the top of the roller skating rink.
With me as we investigate this death tower. Talk about some freaked out stuff. Look at this. This is everywhere. Go upwards, go like that. All right, have you found anything out lately?
We still maintain that it's just Contrails. There are no chemtrails.
So you still are going with that story?
Sorry?
You're still going with that story?
Story, that is the fact.
I get so sick of hearing that it's Contrail when, nobody identifies the planes I'm even talking about. That's what really frustrates me. It's like, how can you just say it's a Contrail? You guys have the ability to identify every single aircraft, right? Doesn't the FAA? Can't you guys identify every aircraft in the sky?
I believe that is correct, that every flight which takes off, which is a major flight, will have to register.
Yeah.
They have to provide the flight log.
Don't you think that its contrail is failing to dissipate? I mean, wouldn't that, as a scientist, make you question to some degree it might not just be water vapor? But this is just stupid. This is ridiculous. This is not natural. This is a reaction to all the chemicals that are in the air. What a heinous display of reckless abandon.
Is this sort of going in line with a lot of the idea or the meme that's being spread of the so-called chemtrails? Is this under that same umbrella, the notion of chemtrails?
I just clearly stated to you that this is a crime against humanity, and I believe that there are aircraft intentionally dumping material into our atmosphere.
Amanda, I have not seen any evidence.
Have you seen the sky? Have you looked up?
But contrails are not the same thing.
I know contrails are not the same thing. I understand what a contrail is. It's a quickly dissipating trail. Is a contrail supposed to linger 500 miles long and never dissipate? That is not a contrail. Sir, it's unscientific and irresponsible for you to definitively state that whatever I'm seeing right now in the sky is a contrail without testing it. I know that from a scientific standpoint. You don't know what aircraft I'm talking about. You haven't investigated or identified the planes. I've tried to get you guys to identify these planes for 6 years.
Are you going to investigate this? If you don't, you know that you're guilty of omission, right? Do you know what omission is? You're guilty of omission, Mr. Federal Agent John Wilbur. Omission is failure to act. It is a crime. You could go to jail for this if you don't investigate this. I'm calling to report a crime to you, and you're refusing to investigate it for me or give me any information about my case number.
I'm just following policy.
There is no policy. What policy is this? To ignore people that call you hysterical about an environmental crime?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
The only time when I will shut up about this is when the EPA acknowledges my claim and comes out and does something about it. I could be wrong. I'm more than willing to admit I could be wrong. So come out and prove it.
Yeah, okay. Monsanto is the devil.
All righty. Okay, so these clips illustrate one small part of the chemtrail movement, the hands-on activist side, passionate, confrontational, and grassroots. But we can't be effective without the scientific information provided by others in our community. Researchers, authors, media skeptics, and movie makers have greatly contributed to global awareness of chemtrails. And we can't forget conference organizers like Matt Landman, who has spent countless hours organizing events such as the one you are attending today. Thank you, Matt, for your hard work and dedication to the movement. Although our roles may be different, we all share one thing in common. When any of us dare to question the existence of chemical spraying into the atmosphere, we are quickly labeled conspiracy theorists and dismissed as crazy. Some of our angrier critics can even morph into menacing bullies. I have lived with intimidation, harassment, subversion, and sabotage daily since joining the chemtrail movement. Trolls have stolen photographs of me to create countless imposter profiles to impersonate me online. Although I have never used Twitter, there is an account in my name on Twitter now. It mirrors my Facebook account, but mixes my own post with the insane post of the troll's own creation. It contains 1,796 tweets. Of course, many people believe I own and control the account. There's even a phony blog entry running about this conference. Trolls have repeatedly hacked my Facebook platform and groups. As with the fake Twitter account, those Facebook accounts are active and online now. Numerous complaints to Facebook have gone unanswered, and the identity abuse continues. This is not an unimportant issue. Fake accounts can be used to confuse and divide our community. Intense arguments have broken out over outlandish fake remarks that friends believe I made. Some have actually turned against me over a post I never even wrote. Many trolls have spent considerable time and effort to humiliate me. Disgusting photographs and videos, frequently obscene, appear regularly on YouTube and other sites. My head has been cropped and photoshopped on an unbelievable variety of bodies. And once again, Facebook has done nothing to stop it. I have developed a thick skin about most of the trolls' attempts at humor, however weak and distasteful they might be, but some practices clearly cross the line. Photos of my home have been posted online along with my address and phone number. I've been prank called at work and received nightly phone calls at 3 a.m. Trolls infiltrated the last chemtrail summit and hid in the bushes at the EPA hearing I attended. One troll has even created a comic strip portraying me as an out-of-control maniac. I have to say it is frequently funny and creative, but sometimes the artist pushes the strip too far and it becomes more than just satirical. We all need to laugh at ourselves occasionally, but cruelty and harassment is never really amusing. One group sold a, quote, Madison Star Moon blocked me on Facebook t-shirt, unquote. My mother even bought one. It's true. Okay, songs, videos, memes, photoshopped images, radio broadcasts, threads, comic strips, t-shirts, I could go on and on, but I guess it goes with the territory. However, sometimes those remarks and behavior are hard to take and they can cut deeply. You know, one particularly painful aspect of activism is the ever-present prospect of rejection, especially from family and friends. My parents are environmental activists, but they have a curious blind spot when it comes to chemtrails. They reject evidence, squash my attempts to talk with them about the topic, and openly belittle my beliefs. They say things like, why don't you focus on something more mainstream, like water pollution or fracking? They can't seem to understand that opposition to chemtrails is my passion. We have come to an accommodation, but it isn't exactly to my liking. I want them to understand the dangers and respect my efforts to fight for this cause, but that may never happen. You have to be willing to accept a lot of rejection when you stand for the truth. And the hits get easier to take as time goes by and you learn how to roll with the punches. I have a few suggestions for those of you who share my conviction that our cause is just and worthy of your time and effort. First, make the most of your own strengths. Each of us is different with individual personalities and skill sets. I don't think most people would feel comfortable confronting public officials. So do something else. If you're talented in art, make some posters or create drawings for the internet. If you're a good debater, weigh in on interactive blogs. I mean, no one will ever support us if they don't know what chemtrails are and why we should oppose them. If you're the bold and courageous type, I've found that one of the most effective ways to engage the public is to go out on a day when chemtrails are the heaviest and point them out to people, both the people you know and complete strangers. Look at the sky. Does that look normal to you? You know, appeal to their common sense. This will free the way for discussion and possibly unlock their minds to this agenda. Arm yourselves with knowledge and information. Attending conferences such as this one is a step in the right direction. Use social media. If you find something interesting, share it with other people. Support others in the movement. I mean, it can get lonely out there, and encouraging words at the right time can do wonders. There are so many amazing and hardworking activists out there dedicated to protecting the planet. Just look around. Everyone has the power within themselves to make a difference. You just have to believe in yourself and keep hope and faith in your hearts. Ignore the naysayers. They may outnumber us, and there are probably some here in attendance at this summit. They don't like us. Some of them passionately hate us. But I'm reminded of what Franklin Roosevelt said when he was opposed by wealthy business interests, the Monsantos of their day. Quote, "They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred," unquote. He was right. The hatred of the trolls can be a powerful indicator that we're onto something. I don't mean to suggest that I'm some type of martyr. You know, no one has put a contract out on my life that I know of. And I'm not being forced to choose between speaking my mind or drinking poison like Socrates. Quite the opposite. My involvement in the chemtrail movement has brought me much joy and meaning to my life. I've come to know many wonderful fellow activists whose concerns for the planet and the people who inhabit it has inspired and energized me. We are part of something truly important. Other generations had to fight to abolish slavery, to overturn tyrants, to establish human rights for everyone. The great challenge of this generation may be to save the earth as we know it. Think about it. Yep. Chemtrails make people sick, they pollute the planet with toxic chemicals, and they create hazards for future generations. The one thing you have to do is persist. Giving up is the only way to ensure defeat. Our world needs each of us to fight like there's no tomorrow, because tomorrow is precisely what we're fighting for. Maybe a comparison to Socrates is in order after all. Perhaps the choice really is to either ask critical questions to those in authority or allow ourselves and our neighbors to be poisoned by toxic chemicals from the sky. We have to become an army. Become an army of men and women fighting for a cause that couldn't be more basic. Clean air is our mission, and together we can achieve our goal. I want to end my remarks today the way I always close, with the words of Winston Churchill, because our movement will live or die by the substance of his words. Never give up, never give up, never, never, never. Thank you.